In this video, I'm going to show you how to pay your rent, your groceries, your bills, all with Bitcoin and Ethereum without ever having to sell a single coin. Your crypto stays yours and keeps growing, you get cash without owing taxes, and you put that cash to work so that it pays you every single day. Now, you've already done the hard part. You bought Bitcoin and Ethereum, you've held through the crash, you didn't panic sell, but right now, that crypto's just sitting there idle, not really doing anything for you. It's not paying your rent, it's not covering your groceries, and the moment you try to get cash, well, the IRS is going to take 30% and you're going to lose all of your future upside. This is known as the accumulation trap. The wealthy have figured out a solution to this decades ago. That's why people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they borrow against their stock instead of selling it. They get the cash, they keep the assets, they avoid triggering capital gains. And the good news is you can do the exact same thing with your crypto, and I'm going to show you exactly how. And at the end, I'll break down the risks you need to know before you try this yourself. The strategy is called the Bitcoin or crypto HELOC, and if you understand real estate investing, you already know how this works. You just haven't applied it to your crypto yet. Now here's the basic concept. Imagine you own a house that's worth $500,000 and you need $100,000 in cash. Maybe for a renovation, maybe you want to reinvest it somewhere else. You would never sell the house to get access to that cash, right? If you sold, you'd lose the house forever and you trigger capital gains. Instead, you go to the bank, you get a home equity line of credit, you pledge the house as collateral, the bank gives you tax-free cash, and you keep full ownership of the property. Pretty simple. People have been doing this for decades. Now take that same idea and move it on chain and apply it to your crypto. Now swap the house for your Bitcoin, swap the bank for a protocol called Aave. It's the world's largest lending and borrowing protocol with over $45 billion in assets locked. It holds 50% of the lending market in crypto, and think of it like the JP Morgan of crypto lending and borrowing. So you deposit your Bitcoin, you still control it, you borrow cash in the form of stablecoins against it, and because it's a loan and not a sale, there isn't a taxable event. And you can now use that cash to generate a monthly salary. I'll show you this in a moment, but just know I have a dedicated video coming out next week that'll dive deeper into the strategy. But here's where it gets wild. Unlike a normal HELOC, there isn't a repayment schedule. There's no payment due on the 15th. There are no credit checks, no bank's approval, no loan officer deciding if you're worthy. It's all smart contract based that runs on code. It doesn't care who you are. And if your Bitcoin keeps going up, which it tends to do, you might never have to pay the loan back. And I know this sounds crazy, but I'll break down exactly how this works in a minute. But first, let me show you what this actually looks like inside Aave. As I mentioned, this is the world's largest lending and borrowing protocol with over $45 billion in total value locked. They're the 800-pound gorilla in this space and really the JP Morgan of crypto lending. Now, when you land on Aave, you can see all the different assets you can lend on the left, the interest rate you're getting paid for lending, and the interest rate for borrowing. For example, if you want to lend Ethereum, you'll earn 1.44% APY. And if you wanted to borrow USDC, which is a stable coin pegged to the US dollar, your borrow APY would be 3.89%. Now let me show you my actual positions. Right now I'm lending $68,000 worth of Bitcoin and almost $26,000 worth of Ethereum. Am I getting rich off the interest? No, I'm earning 1.44% APY on my ETH and 0.06% on my Bitcoin. But that's not why I do this. I do it because these assets are now collateral and I can borrow against them. You can see that I'm borrowing just over $36,000 in USDC and just over $11,000 worth of Ethereum. And I'm paying 3.89% on USDC and 2.18% per year on my ETH. Now you might be wondering, what happens if Bitcoin crashes tomorrow? That's a really good question, and let me show you. So this number right here, the health factor, is probably the most important number on the screen. As long as this number stays above 1, I'm relatively safe. Below 1, and I'm at risk of getting liquidated. That means Aave will automatically sell my collateral to cover the loan. So it will sell some of my Bitcoin and Ethereum to pay off the borrowed USDC and the borrowed ETH. But I'm currently sitting at 1.54 with a 51% loan to value ratio. I have plenty of room. And the key is, don't get greedy, don't borrow the max. On some coins, you have the ability to borrow up to 80% loan to value, meaning 80% of the value of the collateral. But I try to stick to anywhere between 40 to 55% max. That way I have a nice cushion. If the market drops by 40 to 50%, I have the ability to take action and I'm still safe. The reason I only borrow against my Bitcoin and sometimes ETH is because I don't see that dropping 40 to 50% in a day. It could happen over a couple weeks, over a month, over a few months, but that gives me plenty of time to come in and either buy more Ethereum and Bitcoin and lend it and improve my health factor that way, or I can always pay down the loan and improve my health score as well. I'm going to break down the full risk picture at the end of this video, but just know that this is manageable. This is not reckless. You just have to be smart about it. Now, if you look at my current interest rate, I'm paying 3.89% for USDC and 2.18% for ETH. If my lent Bitcoin and Ethereum appreciate more than those rates per year, which historically they tend to, I technically never have to pay this loan back. The collateral will grow faster than the debt, and the math just works in my favor. I can let it ride, borrow more against the gains, or pay it off whenever I want. There's no due date, there's no monthly payment, there are no debt collectors harassing me, and that's the power of decentralized finance. Now this is just step one. Borrowing gets you the cash, but that cash sitting in your wallet, it's not paying your bills yet. The next step is to put that cash to work, deploying it into liquidity pools that can generate anywhere between 3 to 8% in monthly yield. Now let me show you a quick overview of my current position. Okay, so this protocol is called Revert. It lets me get into different liquidity opportunities, manage my positions, allows me to apply leverage to my liquidity pool if I choose so. But I'm not going to do a full deep dive in this video. I have another video that is linked at the end of this one that covers where to find the yield, how to enter liquidity positions, and it'll give you a full walkthrough of how to actually make money with your borrowed cash. But for right now, I just wanted to show you what this looks like in practice. So as you can see, I've got just over $59,000 deployed into an ETH USDC liquidity pool at the 0.3% tier. And my current fee APR is 80.7%. And I have about $68 in uncollected fees. I just entered this position today. I originally had $30,000 in this liquidity pool, and I decided to double my investment so that I can earn this fee APR on the larger number. But as far as my previous position, on December 15th, I ended up putting almost $20,000 into this ETH USDC pool. I deposited an additional $1,600, and then I started to collect fees. I collected $354, $297, $40. I then added an additional $9,000 to this pool, and on December 23rd, I collected $200, $108, $139, $139. And today I decided to double down into this position, and I am fully expecting to hopefully double my income. So anywhere between $200 to $250 per day. Now, the ETH USDC pool, I'm averaging about 7 to 10% per month, which I know sounds astronomical, but that's just the going rate for providing the service that we provide, which is giving our liquidity so that traders can utilize those tokens and swaps from one asset into another. So let me connect the dots. I'm lending my Bitcoin and Ethereum on Aave. I'm borrowing stable coins against them, and I'm taking those stable coins and deploying them into yield generating opportunities. Now I have the best of both worlds. My crypto continues to appreciate, but while I wait, it's paying me every single day. My groceries, car payments, whatever I need. 5 years ago, I didn't know this existed, and I ended up selling my Bitcoin at $40,000 just to cover my bills, and you know where the price is today. Now, this video covers the borrowing piece and gives you a little preview of the yield side, but there is obviously a lot more to the full system. Setting up your wallets, moving off of exchanges safely, finding the right yield opportunities, actually deploying your capital step by step. So I put together a free 5-part video course that walks you through all of it. Links in the description if you want to grab it. So next, let's move on to the risks. Earlier, I showed you the health factor and mentioned staying conservative. Now let me give you the full picture. There are 3 risks that you need to understand before you dive in and start doing this yourself. The first one is liquidation, and arguably the most important one to manage. Now let me show you exactly what this looks like in Aave. When you borrow against your crypto, Aave is constantly watching your loan to value ratio. That's how much you owe versus how much your collateral is worth. Now you can see right here that my current loan to value ratio is 51.21%. If your collateral drops too much in value, and say Bitcoin crashes 50% in a week, this ratio spikes. And if it crosses your liquidation threshold, so mine is currently 79.35%, Aave will automatically sell your collateral to cover the loan. So you're going to lose your Bitcoin or your ETH or whatever you're lending, and you're not going to get that back. It's going to sell it to pay off the loan. Now, the fix, don't be greedy. Aave lets you borrow up to 80% of some of the assets, but don't do that. That's just asking to get liquidated. I personally stay around 40 to 50% loan to value ratio. That means even if the market drops in half, I still got some room. Now, I've been through multiple 40% drawdowns and have never been liquidated because I don't over leverage. So stay conservative and sleep well at night. The second risk is smart contract risk. Aave runs on smart contracts, and a smart contract is a coded agreement, and code can have bugs. Now, Aave's been around since 2017, has been audited by multiple security firms. It has $45 billion locked on it right now, and institutions use it. It's as battle-tested as Defi gets. But it's still code, and there's always a non-zero chance that something breaks. The fix? Use protocols with really long track records, and I'm talking about years, not months, billions in value locked, not millions, and multiple audits from reputable firms. Aave checks all those boxes, and that's why I personally use it, but you should always understand the risks. Now, the third risk is you still owe the money. This is a loan after all. The debt doesn't just disappear, you have to manage it. Now, if your collateral drops and you don't add more, you risk liquidation. If you don't deploy the borrowed cash wisely, you're just paying interest for no reason. So the fix here is to deploy into liquidity pools that cover your borrowing cost. Now, if you're paying 4.65% per year to borrow and you're earning 5 to 8% per month on your deployment, you're way net positive. The yield isn't just covering the interest, it's putting real cash in your pocket, and that's why the loop works. The yield pays for the loan, and if your collateral keeps appreciating faster than your borrow rate, your position gets healthier over time. That's why sometimes you never have to pay the loan back. So to wrap things up, as it relates to lending and borrowing, the three real risks are liquidation, smart contract risk, and managing the debt. Now, are they deal breakers? Not at all. They're fully manageable, and millions of people use these protocols every single day. But you do need to understand them. Don't go in blind, be conservative, and the loop will work in your favor. That's how you escape the accumulation trap. You lend, you borrow, you deploy into yield-generating opportunities, and you earn. And that's the full loop. Keep your crypto, unlock the cash, and put it to work. Now again, if you want the full system laid out step by step, grab the 5-part mini-series below. We cover wallet setup, borrowing, lending, finding yield opportunities, deploying the capital, everything that you need to start your DeFi journey. Links in the description. And if you're serious and you want to move faster, we run a private accelerator. It's built to get your crypto working for you fast. Weekly strategy sessions, portfolio reviews, one-on-one coaching, office hours, the whole system is done with you. Link is below if you want to book a free strategy call to learn more. But either way, stop letting your crypto sit idle. My name is Roman, and I'll see you in the next one.